What that master plan has in store for you as an investor. I'm joined by Paul Mudhara, the Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Markets Authority. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Perhaps just to start off, give us a brief explanation of the rationale behind the Capital Markets Master Plan and what's in it for us as Kenyans.
Well, when you think of it very practically, under the Vision 2030, one of the key objectives is to establish Nairobi as an international financial center. Now, to achieve that, we needed to look very critically at what kind of capital markets do we need to have in place to make sure that we're able to fund some of these massive Vision 2030 projects and really make sure that Nairobi is seen as the investment destination of choice for the African continent.
Mm-hmm. So what exactly do we expect to see? Of course, one of the key flagship projects of the Capital Markets Master Plan is what you've just mentioned, the Nairobi International Financial Center. How do we expect that to look like? When Nairobi is an international financial center, what will Nairobi be like?
On a very practical basis, when anyone wants to, for example, raise money to invest in a large project in Kenya, or even a project in, for example, Malawi, in DRC Congo, Nairobi would be the place where they come to tap the markets, to raise, to issue a bond, to issue shares, to issue derivative instruments, or other future type instruments, to be able to drive that kind of investment. So much like you see London being the destination of choice if you're raising capital in Europe, we want Nairobi to be the investment destination of choice if you're trying to raise capital in Africa.
Mm-hmm. Of course, quite some ambitious plans there. But what would you say are some of the key obstacles in terms of growth for the Kenyan capital markets?
I think very critically it is building awareness. I think would be the biggest first step. That when you look at the master plan and the key pillars we have laid out in that master plan document, right at the top of that is the need to develop one financial sector strategy as a whole, to make sure that our banking, our insurance, our pensions, our savings and cooperative societies, plus the capital markets, are all growing in a coordinated manner so that they're effectively complementing each other. And therefore looking at how that now translates into education and awareness amongst investors in Kenya so that they understand both as a mwananchi, how can I allocate my savings, but also as a company, how do I tap the market to raise the money to drive employment, drive growth, drive development.
And how do you intend to engage them, especially the domestic market, which is, over the years becoming more and more aware of the wealth that can be found within the capital markets?
Now, we're kicking off with the design of a national education and awareness strategy that will cut across the financial sector. We've appreciated that to date, banking has done its attempt, the insurance, pensions. We've all had somewhat disjointed strategies towards building awareness, and we're looking at putting together a national awareness strategy that covers the whole financial sector. So everyone understands that with what money they have, what portion should go into capital markets, what goes into insurance, pensions, banking, in that manner.
Let's talk about commodities market, which is of course a topic that has been mentioned in the past. Is it part of the master plan?
No, definitely. As we look at some of the new products as well as infrastructure that needs to come into place, we see, one, the commodity markets, and much more importantly, the commodity future markets or derivative markets coming into place, so that we can establish for our farmers here, as well as global trends, for example, in key products we have like tea, coffee, that we become the price setter for the global markets, and that as farmers in the country plan, they're able to target and project for the prices they'll be able to secure 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now, because they're able to enter these kinds of derivative contracts.
What's the place of Sharia compliant products? We've seen the financial sector open up, just in reflection of how diverse, Kenyans are in terms of religion, so to speak. What is the place of Sharia compliant products within the capital markets?
I think for the master plan strategy, it's right at the center of it. When you look at the kind of infrastructure, real economy development that's going in the country, it's very well aligned to Sharia compliant capital markets investment. And then when you look at the domestic Islamic population in Kenya, as well as Kenya's proximity to the Gulf, where there's very significant amounts of capital, putting in place Sharia compliant products will open up a whole new range of investments that to date have not been able to enter the market because our products have not been structured in a manner that's really compliant with Sharia law.
As we quickly wind up, East Africa, there has been talk of combining all the markets. Where are we? What is the plan as far as the CMA is concerned?
We've made excellent progress with the process of integrating the markets. We have recently published what are known as directives within the EAC market, which are standardizing the laws that relate to capital markets, offers, licensing, disclosure standards. We're well in the process of implementing the actual interconnectivity of the markets so that trading in one market, as an investor in Kenya, you'll be able to put your order through your broker in Nairobi, trade a share in Rwanda, and the funds and securities will be able to move without you having to involve yourself with another broker in another country. So become a single destination for capital.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's Paul Mudhara, the Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Markets Authority. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry Ann.
All right. Now, Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary Engineer Michael Kamau has defended the hiring of a consortium of companies to provide consultancy and support services for the Mombasa-Nairobi standard gauge